This presentation discusses the pros and cons of using iPads and tablets in schools by Nicole Sanderson. In a constantly developing digital world, school-age students are using information and communication technologies increasingly at home and are presenting to school with stories, knowledge and questions about using computers, iPads, other tablets and smartphones. These technologies are in some instances taking the place of cameras, diaries, home phones and books, and the presence of them in the home means school-age students are exposed to them regularly. This essay focuses particularly on the use of iPads and other tablets in schools, and seeks to outline current research in the field and aims to summarise how and why these technologies can be used to benefit learning. The terms iPad and tablet are used interchangeably for the purpose of this piece. Despite the generally widespread use of tablets in contemporary homes, parents have varying rules around how much access their children have to them. Some children may have free time to play games, take photos and explore online with little supervision, while other children will have strict rules and limited access to specific applications or apps. Additionally, there are students who are not allowed to use or whose family doesn't own a tablet, and this leads to a wide range of experience with these devices among school children. Given this range, it is not as simple as giving a student an iPad and expecting them to know how to use it. Bird explains that before any meaningful or creative use of tablets can occur, mentoring in the basic functions and correct use of the technology must be implemented. A bottom-up approach that begins with naming the parts and functions of the tablet, learning to turn it on and off, lock and unlock, and then leads into the use of important basic apps such as the camera and the Web Explorer is recommended. When teachers are modelling these functions, they should be using the correct terminology. For example, press the home button which is at the bottom of the tablet, as opposed to press the button at the bottom. This allows students to understand more explicitly and in turn help their peers gain an understanding. It is suggested that only when students have an understanding of operating iPads and tablets confidently and independently that they can begin to use them creatively as a learning tool. In order for students to receive effective mentoring and modelling, educators must participate in appropriate professional development, or PD, and be aware of techniques and strategies for using iPads and tablets efficiently. Similar to students, teachers' knowledge and familiarity with tablets is varied in part as a result of them being a relatively new technology and the time many teachers have been in the occupation and have relied on paperwork of desktop computers and laptops. Once competent in the fundamentals of operating the device, teachers are required to choose relevant and appropriate applications that will benefit the learning of students. Following some PD at an Australian Catholic school, an effective approach was to initially download a few basic numeracy and literacy apps, which are agreed on by staff. A policy would need to be decided as a staff as to which apps should be downloaded to cater for specialist subjects. Nash believes that perhaps the most practical feature of iPads and tablets is that they engage students very effectively by their ability to appeal to multiple senses of the user. Students can interact with images and sounds, as well as written and spoken language. In this way, the versatility of the iPad allows teachers to appeal to students' multiple intelligences, as opposed to planning separate content for the individual needs of students. A practical example of how a tablet might cater for the strengths of a variety of students is using them to learn about time. An app designed to teach analog time might include the visual aspect of the clock face, the audio aspect of narration, as in someone verbally stating the times on the clock, and a kinesthetic aspect, where the user can use their fingers to move their hands on the clock to change the time. Here, the class would be using one resource but each individual may be engaging with it through their own preferred style of learning. Further to the benefits of the kinesthetic nature of iPad use, Fluitt, Kuchikova and Messer argue the positive impact that touch can have on the literacy learning of students with learning and other disabilities. It is suggested that the direct touch of the finger on the screen, paired with direct audio-visual feedback from the app, can provide a meaningful and engaging environment for students with motor skill and cognitive deficiencies learning to form letters and words. Typing, choosing fonts and colours and formatting fonts, etc. provides students who struggle with handwriting and presentation the opportunity to produce neat, attractive pieces of work in activities where handwriting was not a central focus, thus increasing their enjoyment and satisfaction in their literacy learning. The research of McDonald asserts that the various functions of the iPad, such as VoiceOver, which narrates text, and larger font sizes to assist visual impairment, extend the benefits of the technology beyond those of touch outlined by Fluitt. For students with autism and other moderate learning disabilities, iPads and other assistive technologies are advocated as an effective tool when undertaking repetition or drill tasks, as they provide immediate corrective feedback and interactive positive motivation. This feedback interface allows students to work independently and subsequently frees up the teacher to spend time assisting students appropriately. Returning to themes discussed by Bird and Facchinetti, if students and educators are not adequately trained or mentored in the use of iPads and tablets, implementation of them in classrooms may lose direction and not reach its full potential. Selective use of apps is important to prevent inappropriate use of iPads and tablets, and this comes from effective planning by staff in individual schools. Additionally, while the sensory properties of the iPad are generally regarded as beneficial, some students with more severe motor impairments struggle with the accuracy required to create meaningful work on the small screen. These students may require further differentiation, with the use of an interactive whiteboard or other larger interface required to integrate them appropriately. In order to promote equity within a school or year level team, Facchinetti outlines the importance of either a program that allows students to access a tablet each, or a well-planned booking system that prevents one class or group of students from having access to a set of tablets more often than another class. The following passage is a reflection on the author's behalf. My experience with iPads and tablets on professional placement in primary schools has been largely positive. I feel as though students are excited by the opportunity to use them and are generally capable users of these resources. Students in my classes have regularly used them for consolidation of mathematical concepts while working independently, and some apps allow a record of their progress to be monitored by the teacher. Some examples include Mathletics and Study Ladder. Conversely, unsupervised use of iPads and tablets has at times led to wasted time and irrelevant use of the internet when students have used iPads for inquiry and research tasks. As an integration aid in a secondary college, I find the scope for iPads and touchscreen laptops to be used inappropriately can be a significant distraction to the learning of students with autism and special learning needs. This also applies to the general population of the school, however I spend my time working with students with learning disabilities primarily. It is difficult to stay on top of this as students take them home and develop habits or obsessions with sites and apps that constantly distract them from using the technology as instructed by teachers. In conclusion, if staff are able to achieve a consolidated level of competence in the use of iPads and tablets, they can then mentor students to use them as a tool to further their education. Substantial research outlined the positive impact that this interactive platform provides for students with learning and/or physical disabilities. Schools should carefully plan the use of iPads and tablets in order to ensure that there is equitable access for teachers and students, and that only apps they deem supportive to the curriculum are accessible by students. Thank you.